I'm my brother's keeper, I'm my sister's guide. Standing here together with nothing left to hide. We lift each other up when the world feels torn apart. We're keepers of the flame, we're the healers of the heart.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to My Other's Keeper. I'm so glad you're joining us tonight. Daniel, nice to see you. Glad you're here. Crystal, thank you for coming. I love that you guys are here so often. And Crystal, thank you for being a moderator. I mean, I'm really grateful that you do this. It means a lot to me. So tonight we are going to be talking to the lovely and fabulous Kosmik Krysti. Can we get a round of applause? All right. But Kosmik has a round of applause. But Kosmik has a passion in her life, and it's such a good passion to have. She wants to be an advocate for people who are underrepresented. And these people who are underrepresented are men who have been abused, frequently abused by women, not necessarily. But Kosmik is in Australia. She's doing wonderful things. And that's what we want to learn about tonight. We want to learn about what she's passionate about and what she's doing about it, and how maybe we can do something about it as well. So, Kosmik, please take it away.
Okay, well, my project is called More Love, More Love, and it's focused on helping men raise their voices as victims, survivors of domestic violence. And yeah, it's just basically, it's a new project. I only started it last year in December, and I really want to, on the other side of the spectrum, I know what it's like, and I just want to be able to help them raise their voices.
It's hard when you feel an unrepresented group, right? You, like you said, you know what it's like to be in that situation, and you know what it's like to not have a voice. So to be able to help somebody raise their own voice, like it's one thing to talk for somebody, but to give them the skills, the opportunity, the space where they can raise their own voice, where they can learn to stand up and advocate for themselves, perhaps. That's a beautiful thing. That really, really is. And I'm not sure where Christy has gone, but that's okay. Brian Lucas, great to see you. Crystal, I'm glad you stopped in. Go skating, have fun. Awesome. And Eric Levitt, nice to see you. We met on Keela's Live Mental Health Matters. Oh, yes. Awesome. Nice to see you again. Glad you're here. I have a daughter who has features of autism. I don't know if she has enough features to be considered diagnosable, but she has features of autism. And so I know how, oh, Goddess Divine, nice to see you. Glad you're here. I know what it's like to love somebody and try to work with somebody when you don't understand what's going through their mind, right? So I don't know everything that's going on in her mind, and she has a hard time expressing it. Strangely enough, though, she has gone to school to become a psychologist because she knows how difficult it is to get good quality mental health care here where we live in Canada. And I'm so proud of her for being able to, like Kosmik is doing, reaching out, creating a voice for people who don't have a voice. And so that's, I think, just a wonderful thing to be able to do. All right. You okay, Kosmik?
Yep.
Okay. If you want to be off, I can talk and talk and talk and
No, it's fine. It's just I had a bit of a moment, and it's just it's sometimes talking about these things can be overwhelming because it's like such a big project, and it's like sometimes when I think about it, it's like it
Yep,
overwhelms me, and I'm a highly sensitive
absolutely.
person, and I get overwhelmed with emotions, and it affects um my body. I have it
Hmm.
comes body effects. Um, yeah, so
Oh,
it's but it's something that's really important to me, and I'm dedicating the rest of my life to this, is because
that's
my
beautiful.
from the moment I was born has been affected by domestic violence, and I just I feel like there needs to be some sort of balance, and that um, I might be some sort of way of being a balance between that, because I was born out of some sort of incredible um, domestic violence, and
Right.
uh, I guess the best way I can put this is that I feel like I can be a balance between understanding what it's like as a female and trying to bring in um, the voice of men so that we can understand it and be gentle about it without the violent discourse that comes in a lot of times with the he said, she said, and the hate that
Yeah,
comes in, because there's a lot of hate between male and female at the moment. And I
there
just,
are. Yeah,
if
it
we,
is incredible, isn't it? Just why can't we
yeah,
just get along?
right.
But
But we, we can't exist without the other. And that's
absolutely.
leaving aside gender politics, and, that's leaving that aside, because I accept, and I am accepting of everybody. Um, you are who you are. Whoever you say you are, that is who you are, as far as I'm
Yeah,
concerned. So, um, but going back to the male and female type domestic violence type thing, and that affects everybody, I feel that there needs to be some gentleness brought back into the conversation, as in, um, you can't talk about it with hate. Um, so on my page, you can be angry, but no violence,
yeah, or threats of violence, because that in
right?
itself is a violent act.
Exactly, and that's just it's just doing a circle of things going around, and it's just it will just keep going around in perpetuity if. And I can't handle this
Absolutely.
violence anymore. And I don't know if it's part of being highly sensitive, that I just feel the world is full of violence. And if we can just bring a little bit more love back into the whole situation, um,
Yeah,
maybe more understanding that a whole bunch of this is created by trauma. Um, and
yeah,
we're just creating more and more trauma by ignoring the situation. And
yeah.
by ignoring what's going on with men, um, we're
And
ignoring
stigmatizing, like saying, "Oh, you must be weak," when in fact it's this big burly man who's being berated, beaten, um, m- just messed around on, like all of these things that we think of as manly abusive tactics toward women.
but
Women
it's not
do it
even
to men too.
it's not even, it doesn't even have to be violence. It can
Right.
be a slow degrading of your personal self, over
Yep.
time, and so that you don't even know what's real anymore. So that's gaslighting, that's
Yep.
coercive control, and that I feel like that happens a lot more to men, uh, and they don't even know that it's happening, because it slowly happens over time. Oh, you can't wear that, you can't say that, you can't do that, you can't go there, you can't go hang out with your mates. You know, there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens, and it's so insidious, but it's little, but because it's not a
Absolutely.
slap, and it's not a slap to the face, and it's not like it's not obvious violence, but it's still violence because it's stopping you from doing what you want to do, and it's stopping you from being free to be you and to exist in a world where you are able to do whatever it is you want to do. And that same is for women who are going through the same thing. You know, like it's just that as women, we're controlled more by the physical aspect, whereas men are controlled more by the emotional aspect.
Men are a lot more fragile than what we give them credit for, aren't they? Because they can be, not always, but can be so physically imposing. We assume that mentally and emotionally they're that strong too. When in fact, you know, as a wife, I think it's my job to build my husband up, to let him know that I am his biggest cheerleader. You know, when he thinks that he maybe can't do a job well enough, I'm like, okay, but remember how you did this, and this really well? Do it that way, right? Eric would like to know your YouTube channel, your YouTube handle. There we go. Good. Yeah, Indigo just put it up. Great. Thank you, Indigo.
But it's just like, but everybody should be able to be sensitive. You know, it shouldn't be a personality flaw to be sensitive.
I agree.
It shouldn't be like, oh, she's too sensitive or he's too sensitive. It should be, oh, she's so sensitive. Oh, he's so sensitive. You know, it should be something that should be celebrated, not something that's downgraded or degraded. You know, like to be sensitive of other people is something that I feel like should be celebrated.
I agree. You're absolutely right. Yeah, that is something where, as human beings, I think it is ingrained in our DNA and that is beaten out of us. You know, like I knew this little boy who kept asking question after question after question, and his dad was saying, "What, are you writing a book?" And then he'd just walk away. So just kind of without beating him, beat the curiosity out of that kid. You know, the kid was being a natural, inquisitive sponge. And the male in his life was saying, yeah, that's not okay. You know, and I think that happens. Yeah. And I think that happens with sensitivity as well. Boys don't cry, you know, man up.
This whole song's about
those are phrases we hear.
Don't cry.
Yes, exactly.
But it's just like, but they do, and there's something about someone who expresses their feelings. Honestly, that's how the narcissist gets me, is they cry. That's how every narcissist has got me, is that they've cried at the right moment. They've got me in the feels. But that's not to say that I don't. Crying is a real emotion, and it's something that should be not apologized for, and it's something I apologize for all the time. Like I cry constantly, like because I'm an emotional being. I'm a human being, emotional being. Like I'm 100% emotions, and I can, because that's part of being a highly sensitive person, is that I feel emotions before I think rational thought. Is that you know, like I don't know. I think I explained that pretty well. And so when something big happens, it's all emotion before I can think.
Yeah. And it all just sits right here on your face. It doesn't go deep. It just sits and gets heavy.
Yeah, and I'm also autistic.
Mm.
So, and I'm quite autistic. I'm up there on the
Mm-hmm.
levels. It's, you know, like some would call me high functioning some days, other days I don't function at all. But
Yeah.
that plays into how I interact with people. And I guess don't understand people because I'm very logic based and
Mm-hmm.
fact based. And there's a whole
Mm-hmm.
bunch of things going on right now that's not logic based and fact based and all that
No.
sort of stuff. It's just like, whoa. And that's within my own life. And it's just like, and it's hard to, opinions aren't facts.
Right.
And feelings aren't facts. Feelings aren't always based on facts. Sometimes feelings are based on opinions, and your
Mm-hmm.
opinions aren't always based on what is facts. But there's also this like DBT, I do DBT, and two things can be true at once. So I can be really upset about something. So just say, I don't know, let's just say, just throwing it out there. I can feel like I'm being taken advantage of, but I am actually not being taken advantage of, but I just feel like it is because it's a situation, you know, like, so that's two things being true at once. And that's
Yes.
where DBT comes in true, like it comes into the whole thing. And that's like where I need to put my emotional and my rational and my wise mind into work. But my
Hmm.
emotional mind comes into play first. So I'm always like, oh, I'm being taken advantage of. Yeah. But like my rational mind is like, are you really? Are you really? And my wise mind is like, just calm down. Just calm your farm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
my emotional mind's like, stop talking to me. I'm emotional. But the thing
Yes.
is, having done all this therapy, I know that I'm doing it when I'm doing it. So it's funny. It's funny to me
Mm-hmm.
after the fact. It's funny. At the
While you're
time, it's
going through it, not so much.
no, really not funny. It's like, oh my god, I'm so emotional right now. Why isn't everyone just playing into my emotion? My emotions are more important than everybody else's feelings. And then my rational mind comes into it, and then facts matter more than other people's feelings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's actually when I'm the most horrible person I could possibly be. Is when facts matter more than other people's feelings.
Yeah.
So I will hurt your feelings to get to the facts. Because
That
I'll
has
apologize
to be a
later.
fine balance, though. That has to be a fine balance because there are times when the fact is actually more important than a feeling. And
So that's
I hate talking
what my rational
politics.
mind is. No,
I hate,
not at
no?
all. No. This is just
Okay.
going down to like, why are you treating me this way? Why are you talking to me like this? Why are you doing that?
Okay.
It's just
Okay.
it's just yeah. And that's what I'm talking about. Like it's I will and it's a personal flaw I know about myself now
Mm-hmm.
is that
Mm-hmm.
to get to the facts I will overrun people's feelings and then apologize later.
Mm. Okay. Okay.
But that's and I'm not sure if that's autism, trauma,
Mm-hmm.
or just my personality. But it's something that I'm aware of and I'm working on it because now when I'm like, I'm gonna drill into you for the facts and fuck your feelings. Sorry.
Yeah.
Um,
There
um,
are worse things out there than swearing.
yeah, I will. I'm like, okay, what am I doing this for?
Mm,
I have to think about
okay.
that when I'm doing it. And that's when the benefit of therapy comes into things. It's like when you're self-aware of what you're doing, then um, you're actually trying to make change and not be the person that is causing harm,
Right.
especially when
Yeah.
people are telling you that you're hurting them. Like if someone said that what you've done is you've hurt me, and then you don't try and effectively change that bit about
Right.
yourself or your behavior that's hurt that person, then what sort of person are you? You're just a
Yeah,
person who's out there hurting people willy-nilly and not caring.
exactly. Yeah. And if you hurt me, you don't get to be the one who said, "No, I didn't hurt you." The person who's been hurt needs to be the one who is believed, needs to be the one who is treated properly, needs a voice, right? And that's what
Yeah.
you're wanting to do with these men. What have you done so far to move your movement forward?
Well, I've written a chapter in a book.
Cool.
I've got a YouTube page.
Yes.
I've got a Facebook page. I've got a Facebook group,
Yes.
so that when
Yes.
any man eventually wants to come forward, no one has yet, then they've got a safe place that no woman other than me has access to.
Oh, wow. So this is for men. You're going to be basically administering the space, but it is for men
It's for
to
men.
work together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And any, like, when I have advocates that I know are going to be advocating safely and for men, not with their own agenda, because I've had a couple of people who've had their own agenda, and because it's really difficult, like even as a woman, when you're confronted with these strong emotions from men who have been victimized by women, you just want to defend yourself as a woman.
Oh, yeah.
And you
Yeah.
can't do that because it's not you. You didn't do it. So you don't have to defend yourself. You have to just accept that this person has gone through this really terrible thing and just listen.
Right.
So I don't, and I've come to the point where I have accepted that I haven't done this to this person. So I am ready and willing to accept what my side of the, whatever you want to call it, has done to men. Not me personally, but those people have suffered from, so I'm ready to sit there and listen and not defend. So until I can find other people who are ready to sit there and listen and not defend, it's just going to be me.
That's good.
Because
It's good to
I've had
have
a lot
that
of pushback.
standard, that basis of there has to be trust. Like we're not just going to have somebody there to go there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I have very clear intentions for My Love, More Love, and it's about giving men voices, not women. No, and that's not because I don't want to give women voices. It's just that that's not.
They have a lot of resources.
Yeah.
It may sound okay. It's going to sound really weird for me to say that abused women have lots of resources when I know that they feel like they have nothing. Okay, like that's going to sound weird, but it's like having breast cancer. Having breast cancer.
You don't know until you don't, until you look.
Exactly. And I'm just going to show you this. This little pink ribbon is for breast cancer, and this little blue pointy part of it is because my two brothers-in-law have had breast cancer. 1% of all breast cancer is in males. So if they don't have a place to reach out, they live in a pink world, right? And it's like people who have been through domestic violence. It's a pink world. The focus has always been on the women who've been abused. I've only in the last couple of years even, well, I knew it somewhere in my brain, but only in the last few years have I really concentrated on the fact that men are abused as well. You know, like domestic violence does not have a gender.
Doesn't, and like violence doesn't have any type of you know, it happens to everybody, whether you're in the upper echelons of society down to the very, whatever people want to call the lowest, you know, and it's
Yep.
just, it's happening to everybody. And
Yep.
and I just feel that right now there's a disparity in services, that there's nowhere for men to go with their children to escape violence. There's
Yes.
nowhere for, there's very limited services to help men escape when they need to. And I know this from personal experience in Australia, not that I'm a man, but from helping other people.
That's right. Yeah.
Looking for services for them. And it's just like, there's not out there. Like, you know, how can they leave if it's not out there? So they're suffering and their children are suffering. And you know what? I'm all about the adults. Cool, adults. Well done. I'm glad you made it to be an adult. But I'm all about the children.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
my focus is about the children. And while I'm focused on giving men voices, my ultimate goal is making children's lives better, because mine was pretty crap. And I don't want other children to suffer shitty childhoods like I know my kids went through, and I know I went through. And you know, if we don't start making the adults see what they're putting our children through,
Yep.
then, you know, so I'll start with the adults, and hopefully it'll all flow down so that the children are protected too.
Yes, exactly.
Because that's my ultimate
It needs
goal.
to start with educating somewhere, right? So if you have to educate the adults in order to get access to educating the children, that's what you need to do. I do mental health presentations. I talk about my journey with bipolar disorder. And part of that is talking about how I was treated by my ex-fiance, which was not good. Fortunately, I got out of the situation before it became physical. But what I do is I then say, okay, emotional abuse is abuse, and it frequently becomes physical abuse. Keep in mind, girls, you're not immune. Guys, watch out for your girlfriends. If they're slapping you, if they're berating you, if they're doing blah, 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 it won't quit until you stand up for yourself. And that's trying. It was because of you. It's like, guys, you need a voice. Just because she's only this big doesn't mean she's not abusive, right? It's like having the little Chihuahua who bites the Rottweiler. That's not cool.
A lot of it's around the people around them as well. Like it's the voices that the abused hear. Like, oh, she can't be that bad. Oh, she's just little.
Oh yeah,
you know.
Exactly. Yep. Nope, that's exactly right.
It's like, well, if everyone else is saying that I can't be being abused, then I mustn't be being abused. So there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
So, and it's just, and there's a lot of that I heard as well. But as I don't know, I'm not a man. And this is one of the things that I would really like for someone else to come on board and help me to do this, because I'm not a man. All I'm doing is trying to help men so that my son, if he ever, God forbid, gets into a situation like this again, he's got the services out there, and I don't have to worry about not, like, I'll help him as best I can. But I know I want there to be everything he needs. I want there to be everything he needs. And sure, it's selfish thinking about it for my son, but it's not just my son.
Nothing wrong with that.
So many children out there. There's so many people out there who need help. I've got friends. Like, it's like 1 in 16 men right now being in Australia have been touched by partner abuse, and that's
Yeah.
just ones that that's very, very like what's the word? I can't think of the word. I'm getting too passionate about this whole thing right now.
That's okay.
It's a very small number, like, because very few people come forward to talk about it because they don't
Yes.
know that they're being coercively controlled, and they don't know that you know, their wife taking control of the finances and then not being allowed to leave the house is actually abuse. So there's a lot more people out there being abused than what we know of. You know,
Absolutely. Yep.
and it goes
Actually,
back to even further. It goes back to even further, like from childhood, family domestic violence goes back, like, and it touches almost everyone in some
mhm,
way or another. Like, this is so
mhm.
insidious. This is so insidious, and it's like,
It's like the roots
and
of a weed, right? You've got the
right,
head of the weed that you can see, but all those roots have gone down and they've gone into the soil, and it's sucking the life out of the healthy things around it, right?
well, you show me something that's going on, like with some great leader in the world right now, and this is not getting into politics, and I'll be like, probably some family trauma going on right there. That's why they're such
Probably.
an asshole. You know, that's why they're so unempathetic. That's probably why they're such a narcissist. That's probably, you know, I don't hate anybody because all I see
Right.
is trauma. You know,
Yeah.
I've had so much counseling, right? And all I see is behaviors linked to trauma. I mean, the trauma
Mhm.
doesn't excuse behaviors. Just because you've been through trauma doesn't mean it's okay for you to be a shitty person.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
it does kind of make me understand why you're a shitty person. You know, like, but I'm
Mhm.
there going, okay, well, I understand why they're doing this. Doesn't make it okay,
Mhm.
but I get it.
Mhm. Yeah. Um, I have a friend who's been on this show a couple of times. Are you looking for somebody, a man, to help you out in Australia, or are you looking for somebody just anywhere who could maybe help online?
I just like someone to have I'd like the male perspective because I can't think like a man. I am not a man.
Yeah. Okay. I will get you two together because, like yourself, he does not have a 9 to 5 type job, so he can take time to do that. And it's a passion of his, men's mental health. Your passion for men having a voice in interpersonal violence or intimate partner violence, they go hand in hand, those two, in my opinion. So I'm pretty sure that the two of you would definitely have something to talk about. Um,
Cool.
and Eric is right. It's very sad to see kids and families deal with trauma and deal with the nightmares. We need to help them out and fix everything. They need our support, absolutely. And for people in the chat, we may not say your comment, but so just to keep the flow of the conversation going between, say, Christy and myself, I'll put your comment up because it is important what you are saying. Okay, so that's kind of how I handle comments when possible. Um, but Cosmic, when you are giving voice to men, have you found any resources, um, programs, books, articles even? Have you found much to offer somebody yet?
Well, there is a book, an audio book that I read, which was called "The Boy Who Was Raised as a Dog," and it's about childhood trauma and how it affects you throughout life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a resource that anyone can listen to if they really like to. Um, there's many different um, organizations you can reach out to, like worldwide. Men's Line in Australia. Um, I don't have them all on me right now, but
That's okay.
yeah, but generally, if you're looking for help, like if you get to me, you know how to look for a men's line. and there's going to be
Yeah.
one. But if you can get to me, I can help you look for a men's line, because I'm a
Awesome.
whiz on Google. If you can,
Yes,
and if you
you are.
tell me where you are, I can find you a shelter. You know,
Oh, that's awesome.
just, yeah.
Yeah,
Or at least someone who can find you a shelter or something like that, or someone who can find you services to help you.
absolutely.
I'm like the spider in the middle of a web who can find the services for things. I'm really good at that.
Perfect.
I'm not so
Oh,
good at
that's
the
excellent.
emotional support, mainly because I get too drawn in. So if you come to me and tell me your problems, I will listen.
Yeah,
But it's more, I need to put a boundary up, because there's only so much pain I can take in, and my heart will break over and over and over again, and I've only got a little heart, and there's so
actually, you
many
have a
stories.
huge heart. You have a huge heart that's been poked how many times? And there's only so many spots left to poke. So,
Yeah,
but no, I think it's also wise for you to offer resources, but allow a man to do the emotional stuff. Because, like you said, men will know men's emotions, and they may not be as reluctant to open up to another man, right? Where they may feel like, oh, she's going to treat me badly, just like that person treated me badly, right? There might be, I don't know for sure, but there might be that pushback.
yeah. Well, like, and that's what I feel like. How can anyone come to me after being treated so badly by another woman?
Yep.
How can they trust
Yep.
me?
Yeah.
I'm just a whole bunch of
No,
words,
that's
and there's not a lot of action just yet. Even though, you know,
well, you
there's
will be back. I'm going to suggest you come back every month. And that way we can just kind of follow the progress. And if there are people, even if they're not watching right now, if you're on the replay crew and you have ideas, put them in the chat, and I look at my algorithm regularly. So if you have an idea or something like that, and it isn't in the live chat, it is an idea though, put it down there and I will get back to you, or I will give you Kosmik's information and you can get directly in touch with her, because she is the heart behind this really important idea. She really, yeah, that she's got an amazing heart.
thanks.
I say it as I see it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
hi,
well.
Misha. Nice to see you. Don't worry about being late. You were busy. I know where you were busy, and it was important. So, yep. Yes. So, what would your ideal outcome be of what you are doing?
Indoor
What's your
violence.
big dream? Well, okay, what's your less big? Like, what practical dream do you have?
Well, my small dream is to end all violence. But my little
Okay.
dream is to, well, my big dream actually is to actually make sure there's actually services out there, so that if someone wants to escape, man, woman, child, dog, because dogs are parts of victims of violence too.
Absolutely.
There's a way for them to escape, and it's not such a rigmarole and so difficult, because I know how difficult it is, and
Mm-hmm.
it should just be a phone call. I need to get out, and then like, I read the book about the railway, that when I was a child, and that's sort of kind of what I want, a railway of support, so that people can get out and away, or if
Like,
not get out, just be safe. So, because why should why should the victims always be the ones to leave? Why can't the abuser just get out? But anyway,
Yeah, wouldn't that
that's
be
a dream.
nice?
I have big dreams.
Yeah.
I have big dreams. Small dreams, big dreams.
Nothing wrong with big dreams because frankly, if it's only a little dream, you only get little results. You need to
Yeah.
have those big dreams to even get, like, even if you get a quarter of the result of your big dream, that's a big result. So I think that's awesome. I think it's really, really great to have big dreams. Something that Kosmik has on her channel, um, putting that up again. Today, was it yesterday or today you did the cave?
It was
The
yeah, today.
It was this morning. Okay. Yes. Today she put up she did an analysis of Plato's analogy of the cave. And I'm not going to tell you what it is right here, right now, because it's involved. And having her describe it is really, really impactful, I think. I loved the way you did what you did today. I just got goosebumps thinking about it. Um, but no, I think it's really important to understand the basics of the cave is that what is reality, what isn't reality. And where I would go from that is your reality worth more than somebody else's reality, right? So the fact that somebody says, "Oh, you haven't really been abused," or it's not really abuse, they're just talking down to you, or it's not really abuse, it's just, and they're minimizing it, right? That's the reality that they want you to have. But your actual reality is more important because it is your reality, right?
Well, you
So
live in your reality. Nobody else does.
absolutely. Yep. Yep. Misha says Kazi is so wise. She is. Yes. Love it. The Holy Rogue is here. Nice to see you. Serenity now. Very nice to see you as well. Um, so who has questions for Cosmic? I'm sure there are questions and ideas and places where she can look for things or ideas that you have that maybe she's already looked into, right? Because I mean, that's what we're here for. We are here not just to give our opinion, it's to learn from each other. What do you think?
I'd, I'd love
Oh,
any
and I love your little disco ball up on your microphone. It's very cute. Yes.
yes, I would love any new, just any other allegories or things to go into, because I'm going down a rabbit hole and I get stuck, and they're all interesting, and they're all relevant. I feel so. But if anyone's really interesting, you know,
Mm-hmm.
well, yes,
So a
I have
pamphlet
actually.
book of resources. Okay. Have you put anything together yet, or is it still not
Most of my
enough information yet?
most of my stuff is on narcissism and in and women.
Okay.
And I just feels like if I was handing that out, I'll just be a woman handing out an attack book on women.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
it
see
doesn't
what
feel
you're
right.
saying.
Yeah. So men in need together. Mint.
Mint.
Oh yeah.
That's really good. Yes. Now, is that a program or is that an acronym that is used somewhere, or is it something that you've simply come up with that's absolutely brilliant? Because it's brilliant. I like it. Crystal says, listening to you, Cosmic, helped me realize just how abusive her mother was. Yes, even to her father. Absolutely. Yep.
Well, that's why my
Yeah.
project started, because my mother was she is a narcissistic abuser, and my stepfather was the victim, and he ultimately took his own life. So he's the inspiration for Mo Love More Love. He had a beard, Mo.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it's just and he was just the happiest person ever, and my mother destroyed him. And I don't think she did it intentionally. It's not like I think she set out to do this. She did hers through trauma, but it doesn't make it okay.
Absolutely.
She still did this. And I still need to make people aware of what can happen and all that sort of stuff. So there is an ultimate, there is an ulterior motive and all that sort of stuff to it, an ultimate goal. As in, I don't want any other men to lose their lives because of
you know what it's like to lose that man, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And my mother is the perpetrator. I'm still coming to terms with it.
Yeah.
Still to the right words to use what she is.
Perpetrator, I think, is a good word. It doesn't put a pretty face on it, right? It says for what it is. She was a perpetrator of
domestic
intimate
violence.
partner violence. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Eric has a good question. Have you thought of doing business cards just with your information and kind of like maybe a QR code for your YouTube channel, for your Facebook page? Something like that might be very interesting. Do you have that as well?
I've got the logo all worked out. Just got to get the wording all sorted out, and then I'll get them printed out so I can hand it up. Because one of the things that I was going to do is I wanted to travel up and down and go to pubs, because pubs is a good place, and not Americans call pubs.
Pubs.
But
yep.
Yeah, you go to pubs and
bars.
I'm very talky. People like to talk to me. So they'd come up and I'm able to get a lot of information on someone very quickly. So I can hand them my card and just say, here you go, instead of just giving them my number, because me giving someone my number just feels kind of wrong.
It feels a little icky, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no way I've been able to kind of pass out information now. But that's an excellent idea, Eric, and I'm onto that one. So.
That's great. Yes, it's good when people are offering ideas that you've had, and it's a great confirmation of the idea that you've had. Each of you, it's a confirmation for both of you that it's a really good idea. So I like that.
Now I feel like, no, it was a good idea. Now I feel like now it's not going to be so weird.
Yeah. No, exactly. And for Eric being a man to be suggesting it as well, like it's just being able to say, you know what, a guy told me this, or a guy, this is from this guy's perspective. It's not me putting my information on it. It's this guy's perspective. So I think that's really great. Yeah. Hi, Mary. Nice to see you. So what other questions do we have for Kosmik? Oh, here we go. Indigo has a comment. Oop. There we are. A website where you can field calls and messages could keep you safe. So an answering service, perhaps, instead of your number. Yes.
Well, I'm going to run everything. I'm not going to be handing out my number. Because I already avoid too many calls. But
something like WhatsApp would be good too.
It's all going to be through Mo Love More Love. Because I'm not going to be a support service. I'm going to be I'm just a project to raise voices, and to connect people to the support services that hopefully will come from the project. because I've tried to be a support person for someone who was leaving domestic violence, and they went back, and it broke my heart. And I can't, and and it takes average of 7 times for someone to leave their partner. So, if I was to be a support person for someone and it takes 7 times, that's 7 times my heart's going to break. And
Yes.
and I know as someone who's gone through that, like I've put my friends through that. I've broken their heart how many times?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
I can't. So I'm not the support person. I am the person who directs to the support people that are
So you're a
hopefully going to.
clearinghouse for information is what you are.
Yes, and also to raise
Okay.
voices. Because I don't have the strength to support.
It would be too much, I think. Like you said, your heart is so soft. It is so big. And it's been attacked so many times. There's only so many more times that there are left, right? And you have to protect that.
It's also knowing the stories that are likely to come forward are going to be so bad that
Yes.
I don't have the strength for that. There are people out there who do.
There's an account of a young man who was kidnapped, for lack of a better term. He went into business, or he went to work for somebody who had a moving company. And this young man is from the city close to where I live. And this guy he decided to work for was from another province over, the next province over. And this guy's like, yeah, you come work for me. I'll put you up in a house and so on and so forth. And this guy's like, oh, this is great. Basically, he got kidnapped and abused and starved, and horrific stories of what this young man had to go through. Just, it turns your stomach what people will do to people. And because he was a man, people saw, oh, this guy has a bruise on his cheek. Oh, well, he's a mover. He probably hit it on something. Oh, this guy's got a broken arm. Oh, he probably, they don't look at another man as being somebody who has been injured, right? And so being able to have a support system, this clearinghouse of support, like what you're suggesting, is super important. I'm so grateful that you're doing this. Oops, here we go. A website would help because you can organize the information, resource, and contacts. Yep. And this is something that Kosmik's already doing. And if you did educational work like your videos, yep, absolutely. You can make cosmic connections. I like it. Yes.
I love you.
Oh, did I miss? Okay. Exhausting if not handled effectively. Vicarious trauma has affected many as a result. Absolutely. You can get vicarious trauma and PTSD from somebody else's, what they've been through. And it's because your heart, like it binds to them. And you become invested in how this person turns out. And that's not a bad thing.
As a highly sensitive person, I can avoid that. Like,
yes,
I can put up all the boundaries and all the walls I can, but when I hear something that hurts, it's going to hurt regardless.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yes.
So, I'm not, I could probably build a titanium wall and someone can tell me their dog died and I'll still be like, what?
Well, it's a sad thing.
Exactly.
That's a sad thing. Yeah, I know.
Everything, I have no walls as far as emotion is. It just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I'm not even thinking about it. I'm like, where's my dog? It's over there.
I heard him chatting a little while ago. This is good. Yes. So, Cosmic, what can we do to support you? What would you like from us?
Well, I guess just keep watching my videos, even though I'm very bad at them. I'm still learning. And maybe not the earlier ones. Leave them alone. They're about my mum. Leave the ones about my mum alone. She's a narcissist. She'd love them being watched. But they're up there just so that that if More Love does become successful and it does come out there in the media, and my mum decides that because it's a project that's out there, it's something that could develop into something in Australia. I just haven't.
Absolutely.
I've already done some things that I can't really talk about it because, yeah. But like, if it does become more successful, my mother is going to try to hurt it, and so
Yeah.
I've put out all my truths out there online so that she can't say that I haven't said it already.
And she can't hold it against you, and she can't claim your success as hers. You know,
Well, she can claim
like I
it.
can see,
She can claim it if
but
she
the rest
wants.
of us will know the truth.
I can share my success. You know,
Okay.
My Love More Love is my Love More Love was inspired by her because she abused somebody. So I can share the success, sure, if that's what she wants to claim.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
but
Conventions
yeah,
where you can network with specialists. Oh, that's a good idea. Word of mouth does go a long way. It does. Absolutely.
yeah. And I'd like to eventually. Right now, I'm just building. I'm building. I'm just getting I'm just building.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like just sort of making sure that it's all okay and that everybody's okay, and that nothing's going to come at me from out of nowhere. Nothing's come at me out of no. Nothing can come at me. I've done nothing wrong. That I've done nothing to be ashamed of. Nobody can make a channel. Well, they can, but it'll all be lies. So it'll be funny. So, but you know what I'm saying? Is like nothing can do that. Nobody can do that. Nobody's
Yeah.
got receipts on me.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying.
It's hard to
And
have a receipt when you haven't done anything wrong, right?
exactly, and it's sad when it's your family that is the one who would do it.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's tragic. That really is tragic. Okay. So I'm going to invite you back if you want to come back. Oop, we've got some focus issues going on. But I would love to invite you back once a month or once every other month or something so we can follow your progress because
Maybe
I
every
want
other
to
month,
cheer
so
you
I
on.
don't feel so much pressure.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, every other month, maybe even like one quarter, so 3 or 4 times a year. So we can
Yep.
track your progress and we can support as you need. The bigger you get, the more support you will need. Word of mouth, like has been said, and emotional support for you as well, because you do have this huge heart and we want to be here for you as well. Okay, so
I don't mind
yeah,
it going very slowly. I'm very happy with the slow growth, slow and organic. I'm not after the
awesome.
money.
Nope. And that's, well, I'm gonna push back just a touch. Money is not a bad thing because it can be
Absolutely not.
invested into the cause. Pardon?
Exactly. It's absolutely
Right.
not. But there has
But
been.
it can be invested into
It's.
the cause, not just for your own use, kind of thing, right?
I know. And there's been a lot of things going on. Money's not a bad thing. I mean, like I would love to monetize and all that sort of stuff, but it feels like too much pressure. Because then I wouldn't be able to be
Yeah.
me. Because like I am not monetizable. That's why I said I'm not out here for the money. It's like if you want to get
Fair.
monetized, do all this stuff. Do what you want. But I am not monetizable. I will get, and I'll have so many fights with YouTube once they try to start monetizing me.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Well, my
Yeah.
friend, thank you so much for coming here and talking today. It takes a lot of guts to step out, and it really takes a lot of guts to step out on behalf of somebody else. So thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Love you very much.
Thank
It seems
you. I
like old
love you
times.
too. All right, everybody. I will see you tomorrow for prayer meeting on Friday. And yeah, so thank you, everybody, for showing up, for being here for Kosmik. And when you have ideas, because I know you will, but when you have ideas, reach out to Kosmik. If you can't find her information, it's in the chat. So scroll up in the chat if you're just showing up now, or you can email me or find me on Facebook and I can get the information to her as well. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Some come with scars, some come with dreams. In this circle, we're more than what we seem. No judgment here, just voices to be heard. Through laughter, through the tears, we find every word. I'm my brother's keeper, I'm my sister's guide. Standing here together, with nothing left to hide. We lift each other up when the world feels torn apart. We're keepers of the flame, we're the healers of the heart.